Good evening. While I was reading the hymns in preparation for tonight's service, I was struck by an interesting verse which says to the Panagia, "We call you seashell. Its dye was used in royal cloth, and your blood dyed the divine flesh of the King of Hosts." But what does this mean exactly? After doing a little research, apparently this is a reference to a process which was well known to the ancient world of extracting the finest purple dye. The source of this dye was found in the mucus produced from the glands of a predatory murex sea snail. And these are found throughout the Mediterranean Sea, especially near the port city of Tyre. The area was so well known for the dye that the ancient Greeks called the region Phoenicia, a name that in part means land of purple. It was a meticulous process. First, the sea snails had to be harvested by experienced divers. Next, the shells were opened, the glands were extracted, and then they were pierced, causing them to bleed. And this excretion was then wiped onto a large animal skin. After being dried out for days or weeks, the snails were turned into a fine powder, which was the base for the dye. Then the powder was placed into a pot and was slowly heated for about 10 days until the mixture turned a reddish purple color. After, the artisans would dip various silks and cloths inside over and over until slowly they began to dye from a range of light purple to dark purplish maroon. Following the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the skills were lost to time, only being remembered in various historical references. It wasn't until 2002 that local fishermen attempted to rediscover the skill through experimentation. Purple was an expensive color. According to the Roman author Pliny the Elder, thousands of snails were needed to produce just 1 ounce of Tyrian dye. Today, harvesters say that 100 pounds of snails produces just 1 gram of dye extract. Because of its rarity, in Rome, the Caesars declared that this purple dye was their official color and claimed exclusive rights to its production. With this background, we may now begin to understand why we call the Panagia a seashell. Her complete chastity, humility, and love, grown throughout generations of purification, produced a rare royal color. Within her and without corruption, she was pierced, and her blood was used to dye and fashion the body of the King of Hosts. This piercing of love prefigures another piercing that we hear in the hymns which say, "When his pure mother saw him on the cross, in pain she uttered, 'Woe is me, my child, why have you done this? You who are more beautiful than all men, I see you not breathing, unsightly, without form or beauty. Woe is me, my light, I cannot bear to see you sleeping. I am wounded to the core, and an awful sword has pierced my heart. I extol your passion, I worship your compassion, O long-suffering Lord, glory to you.' The evil and sin in the world takes that which is good and holy and attempts to use it towards its own profane ends. This is why the same royal color of his flesh, fashioned from her, is the same color of mocking the world presents to the King of all during the Passion. Then the governors, soldiers took Jesus into the praetorium and gathered the whole company of soldiers around him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and then they twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head. They put a staff in his right hand. Then they knelt in front of him and mocked him, 'Hail, King of the Jews!' They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. And after they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe, put on his own clothes and on him, and then they led him away to be crucified. Therefore, let us continually pray to the Theotokos for her intercession, because every time we sin in our hearts or speak evil to one another, we are among those who mock, spit, strike, and crucify her Son. If, however, we cry out to her, then she will speak on our behalf to Christ her Son, who can raise us up again from the dead tomb of sin into life everlasting, wiping away and cleansing the stains of sin upon our wedding garments, coloring us into the royal purple of the glorious seashell with his blood. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Christ is in our midst.
Please come forward to venerate the icon of the Theotokos.